Rise and shine. You're watching WCTV Eyewitness News. The Good Morning Show starts now.
Coming up at 6, can you believe it's been a year since Russia invaded Ukraine? Coming up, a report on where things stand today.
Plus, walking out with a purpose will explain why students at FAMU and FSU walked out of class to protest yesterday. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us on this fabulous Friday.
You are feeling the Friday. Right? All morning you've been feeling the Friday. I love it. No, you go. Do your thing. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I put a poll up yesterday asking people if you liked the warmer weather or if you wanted winter.
Let me guess.
Okay.
People are mad about the warmer weather.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Man.
Got more than 100 people to vote, so thank you all for voting. Love that. 2/3 are like, Rob, where's winter? Come on, dude. The 1/3 is like, no, love the warmer temperature.
Right.
I live in Florida, Rob. Yeah. So I get it. I get you.
I do get it. It is supposed to be winter. Yeah. So, yeah.
I would like it a little cooler, but I'm not going to complain about this at all. The top has been off the Jeep all week. It's going to stay off the Jeep all weekend. Let's get to it, my friends. Outdoor, make your plans to go out and play. I think it's a shorts golf weekend. That kind of warm. We're at 70 to get started in Tallahassee this morning, 68 in Thomasville, 67 in Live Oak. The temperatures all grouped together. If there's an issue here, it's a little muggy outside. We've got some fog in spots. Visibility in Perry is down to 3/4 of a mile. The Tallahassee airport's down to 4 miles, and we're going to find more spots with bigger reductions in visibilities. And I do expect to see some areas with some dense fog that maybe lasts past 9 or 10 o'clock. So fog is going to be a factor this morning. Best chances to see the most showers way off to our north and west again, where all that energy is still oriented. Can't get this far south. Got a big ridge of high pressure that's in no hurry to go away. So our forecast in no hurry to change. We got to 84 yesterday. That set a new record. The current record for today is 84. No reason we don't get right back to the same temperature or maybe even a smidge higher. I think we're talking mid-80s all weekend. I'll break it down full forecast in just a few minutes.
We began this hour with our continuing coverage of the execution of Donald Dilbeck. The state of Florida carrying out his sentence last night a little after 6 at the Florida State Prison in Stark. The 59-year-old was on death row since the 1990 killing of Faye Vann in the parking lot of the Tallahassee Mall. This was the first execution in the state since 2019. Coming up at 6:30, our Katie Kaplan will have more on this story.
And our other top story this morning, today marking 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine and started a war. The U.S. lending assistance to the Ukrainian resistance since the war began. Symbols of support for Ukraine also all across the Atlantic. Some European landmarks, including the European Parliament in Brussels, lit up with the colors of the Ukrainian flag. Now, coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll speak live with CBS's Jared Hill for more on what President Biden is doing today.
Back home now at Florida State, a threatening social media post prompted campus police to evacuate certain sections of the university center yesterday. FSU PD searched the area around Doak Campbell Stadium and ultimately determined the threat to be a hoax. They're still investigating who was responsible for the post. And staying on campus, students taking part in a statewide walkout protest over Governor DeSantis' push to block diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in state colleges and universities.
Yeah, students also protesting the governor's request sent to 12 state universities asking for information on people who received gender-affirming treatments. Mike Rogers has more.
An impassioned crowd of over 100 students, faculty, and staff from both Florida State and Florida A&M.
This is what democracy looks like.
Loudly voicing their concerns.
You're seeing it right here. Everyone's here together, and now all our struggles are kind of coalescing.
Florida A&M adjunct professor Bruce Struble joined a coalition of rattlers at the rally, chanting alongside their Florida State counterparts, protesting Governor Ron DeSantis' ban of the AP African American History course. and potential plans to pull state funding from diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the state.
No matter what he attempts, he's not going to take us backwards. We're moving forward, we're making progress. We're going to stand here united as one people.
FSU students also organized class walkouts, the group calling out the university's compliance to state law and turning over medical records on students receiving gender-affirming health care.
And we do aspire to not only make a change on our campus, but across the community, the city, and across the state as well.
The governor requested a breakdown of medical data from not only students, but the general public on gender-affirming care at hospitals run through the university, including patient ages and dates of received care.
And you guys are just making a difference. You're making a difference not only in our lives and the future generations to come, but you're making a difference in history.
And we reached out to Governor DeSantis' press office with questions regarding the policies at the center of this rally, but didn't hear back.
6:05 now. A former teacher in Gaston County organizing a meeting yesterday for parents to express their frustrations surrounding their kids' education. Shea Simmons worked in the district for nearly 20 years, but recently stepped away for a second time because of her frustrations. Superintendent Elijah Key echoing her sentiment when it comes to a lack of access to accelerated reading programs, saying the kids deserve better.
When you look at the overall data and how we're so far behind or just behind the rest of the state when it comes to the average at the state level, our focus has to be getting kids to read. Has to be.
Key says the district recently implemented a new reading and math program, which teachers are starting to get comfortable with, and then they'll start to incorporate accelerated reader and other supplements back into lessons. Simmons says the quality of education affects the entire community, and she's hoping parents can work with the district moving forward.
Time now for First Alert Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
All right, we start this morning way warmer than normal. Typical morning starts in late February, mid-40s. Most of us are mid-60s and up, so more than 20 degrees warmer than normal. And a daytime high today, like yesterday, should climb into the lower and mid-80s. Normal daytime highs are only supposed to be around 70. Let's talk about the fog. Got some pretty thick areas of fog this morning and more widespread than we've seen this week. From Apalachicola to Perry, where visibility is down below 1 mile, to Quincy and Bainbridge and Blakely, where it's down below 2 miles. And we're going to find more areas experiencing more fog. We've got the dense fog advisory for much of our Florida region, not in South Georgia, but that doesn't mean we can't get some thick fog in South Georgia. It just means we're expecting more of it in North Florida, and it really feels like we're going to find more of it on I-10 and south, but everybody can experience some of that fog where the visibility drops, and you're going to want to make sure you're always using the low beam headlights in those areas of fog. Now, the same orientation with the overall weather pattern is happening from southwest to northeast, out from Texas up through the Tennessee Valley. That's where all the energy is. So we stay bottled up with the warm, humid air in place, and we get temperatures to start the day between 65 and 70 across the region, and we get daytime highs up over 80, way warmer than normal. We can see this general clockwise circulation here on the Futurecast. That's that ridge of high pressure. That's not going anywhere, which means our forecast is not changing. I think it's going to be hard to generate any real showers. We can get maybe a little drizzle and mist, but the story today, tomorrow, and Sunday, warm and a bit humid with highs likely in the mid-80s.